Hey guys, this is Grant Ricks, your host. This episode is a bonus episode that Ian and I worked on a long time ago, and it was actually a DVD review for John Wick, and it was the second thing that we ever recorded, and we essentially did the first one was Maze Runner, and that was episode 14, I believe, that I released because of the sequel that was coming out. So I'm doing the same thing this time around, and I'm hoping that you guys enjoy this one. I just want to apologize for the sound quality, and I hope you enjoy it. So let's do it. John Wick. Welcome to the Half Pass Podcast. This is Season 1, Episode 0, the DVD review of John Wick. I'm here today with my friend and co-host, Ian Jones.
I want to shoot some people in the face, buddy. John Wick style.
Before we get into that, I want to talk about the new Star Wars teaser. I love this teaser. It really got me excited about watching the movie. It did exactly what it was supposed to do, and it just drummed me up to just ready to go in there and just see some lightsabers and see some battles and have lots of fun. It looks like a real fun movie.
I want to see Han Solo. I just hope he does a better job flying the Millennium Falcon than landing airplanes.
What reference is that?
Well, Harrison Ford just crashed his airplane. You don't watch the news. That's okay.
God, you're right.
That's okay.
He did crash his airplane. He's fine, though. He's fine.
Yes, he is.
He's fine. That was like a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, man. I totally forgot about that.
Graham's just giving me a blank stare over here. And that's okay.
One of the things that I liked about it is that the old, like the prequels, the episode 1 through 3, is that this time around, it seems like they're going back to actual sets and locations. And it just gives it that same look as the original trilogy that we all love. And so I'm really excited that this is a part of this new one here. I also enjoy that J.J. Abrams has taken it. To me, it looks like it has more a dynamic feel to it. There's more action style scenes, and it just makes it seem lots more exciting.
I'm looking forward to Christmas now. Like I wasn't before, because of the whole Santa in your house thing, but, a big red guy in your house.
That has always been a very creepy thing about Santa Claus.
Eating your cookies.
Eating your cookies? Well,
those are mine, bitch.
I grew up with actually making brownies for Santa Claus.
That's, wow.
Very strange, right? And it's because my dad doesn't like cookies.
Oh, okay.
So what he would do is he would just be like, Santa likes brownies also. And so he'd get my sister to make brownies for him so he could munch on them when he got there.
Freaking awesome. Son.
That's just my dad. And
Santa likes steak too.
Which is which is another thing about this is this might be the first time that I won't be able to watch the Star Wars movie with my dad, which is really weird because it seems like he was always either out here with me or I was just living at home and we all got a chance to see the Star Wars movie. This might be the first year that I haven't been able to see it because even though Star Wars came out during the 70s, they re-released it multiple times. And I definitely saw it when they re-released it in the 80s. And then when they released the special edition, I went to go see that with my dad too. Even all the original prequels, he just seemed to always be out here to see me after I came out here for college. And so it's interesting that this time around I'm not going to be able to see it with my dad, but it's still super excited about it. I'm sure we talk about it. We talk with each other every week about movies, so it'll be real fun to talk about the movie after Christmas. The other thing that I liked about this Star Wars trailer is I liked seeing the Star Destroyer and just like X-Wings just falling down on the planet in the very beginning scene. It just, I'm just so excited about this one, man. I don't know how else to say how excited I am about it. It's just absolutely fantastic.
You know, how long do Wookiees live anyway? Because Chewbacca has to be like 100, man.
Well, I'm curious about that too. And you would think that he would look older, but he definitely looks the same.
Like he isn't gray. He's not graying.
Well, I've had this conversation before, and there's no proof that Wookiees get gray hair when they're older, right?
Or that they lose it.
Or that they lose it.
He still has that nice head of hair. I think he should look just as messed up as Harrison. It's like old Solo. He's aged better than... Well, yeah, that's that Hollywood living.
Well, he's aged better than Mark Hamill, right?
Yeah. Well,
Mark Hamill looks kind of rough.
I think he'll look better in this movie than he did in The Kingsman. He should look better.
Oh man, The Kingsman was good, wasn't it?
That was an awesome movie, but I'll tell you, he almost didn't even look like Mark Hamill. Put on a lot of weight.
Yeah. And
he did an awesome job, so...
Yeah, it was fun seeing him in there. I didn't even really recognize him until after they had shown him, like, again. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. It's Mark Hamill.
This is the revenge of Mark Hamill. Everyone's going to put him in everything now.
The other thing is, even though J.J. Abrams is doing this movie, there's a noticeable absence of lens flares, which we all know watching from Star Trek and Star Trek 2, even in Super 8. Yeah. There's just lens flares all over the place, although it's worse in Star Trek because there's scenes where the lens flares are over the actors' faces.
I think he apologized for that, and Disney straightened him out.
You don't think that he's just going to add them in post?
Well, yeah, there's maybe they haven't had time to bomb everything with lens flares. But he usually works with his director of photography on that anyway, so yeah. I don't know, we'll see.
And just through my research, the other thing I thought was fantastic is I like that they used the three main guys from The Raid to do acting, and it's some unknown character or characters, but they've used these guys from The Raid, and I hope that they use their same feeling of action scenes. There's one thing I've always wanted from the Star Wars series is these really exciting action scenes, which just has fallen short throughout the series. There's just so much you can do with it. Some of the fan-made stuff is better than the action scenes in the movies.
I think it's tough because they've all been PG with the exception of the last one.
Yeah.
Which I thought was easily the best one of the prequels. So I think the question is, and I haven't heard anything about this, but is this going to be a PG movie, or is it going to be PG-13 and they can add in some of those things? The Raid, by the way, if you guys haven't seen it, is an awesome action movie, and so is the sequel.
It's one of the best action movies I had seen in probably a decade. It's very, very good, very well done. And one of the things I liked about the Raid, the first one, was that there's that scene where he fights Mad Dog, and this action scene's almost 10 minutes long. That's how long the fight scene is, which doesn't happen a lot in those movies. So it just looks just amazing to see how long that can go and how far it is. The Raid's a good movie. Yes. Everybody needs to see that one and see the sequel.
Go see it twice. Or see one and then the sequel.
Now, Jones, I think we've wasted enough time here.
Enough of that.
Let's go ahead and get into the review. All right. John Wick is out for revenge and everybody is getting shot in the face.
Oh no, my face.
This movie is directed by David Leitch, which is his directorial debut, and has experience working with Keanu Reeves before. He was working with him. I guess he was a stuntman for The Matrix. Co-directed by Chad Stahelski. Also, directorial debut.
I know Kung Fu.
It stars Keanu Reeves as the main character, John Wick, ex-hitman.
You may know him from Much Ado About Nothing. You know, Shakespeare is rolling in his grave while he's burning in hell for me bringing that up.
Does he deserve it?
Does Shakespeare? Well, he might have killed someone. I don't know. I didn't know him personally. Maybe he deserves to be in hell.
So wait a minute. This movie is about Shakespeare?
No, it's Much Ado About Nothing.
So it's not like Shakespeare in Love.
No. Oh God, no. No, it's Much Ado About Nothing. He just plays a smaller part in it, but he has a few lines and that's enough.
All right.
To sink it.
Keanu Reeves is John Wick. How do you feel about this guy? I don't think he has a lot of depth, but I'm not entirely sure if that's needed for this character.
The person and the character. You know, yes. Every time I see Keanu Reeves, I feel like he needs a hug.
He definitely looks very depressed every time you see him.
You seem like someone just hit your dog with a baseball bat.
But he's like that all the time.
He is.
Keanu Reeves is an actor that, like, every time you hear him talk, he just still sounds like the character from Bill and Ted's.
You know, do you think he just talks like that normally, like to his buddies, or is he relaxed and not?
How could you get any more relaxed than how he is as the surfer dude?
He never actually has a surfboard, though, right?
Well, no, wait. Point Break.
Oh, okay, all right.
He doesn't have a lot of depth as John Wick, but I don't think it's really needed because he's a character just because of how dangerous he can be, potentially. And that's all you need to know.
He's a hitman, so you need to just watch him do his thing.
Yeah. So Adrianne Palicki plays Miss Perkins.
I approve of these boobs.
She is pleasant to look at.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
You gotta have some eye candy.
Although I don't feel like she really needs to be in the movie. It's one of those characters you feel like they could just take her out and it would be fine.
Yeah, they needed something for the fellas. It's not an action movie without a chick. And
yeah, well, that's true. Now, Adrianne Palicki played in Supernatural, like in the pilot episode.
Yeah, and I think had maybe 1 or 2 callbacks.
Yeah.
She was in the second G.I. Joe.
Which I did not see.
It was awful.
I couldn't watch it. The only thing I wanted to see was the ninjas on the mountain. I didn't want to see anything else. So I figured I'd just wait till it showed up on Netflix. And it did.
And you still didn't watch it. You're not blinking right now.
No, I still didn't watch it.
Yeah, okay, good. So
she was also in Legion. She was the diner waitress in there.
Yeah, she was pregnant with the savior of mankind.
Yeah. Alfie Allen as Yosef, the spoiled son of Vigo in this movie.
Also known as Dickless from Game of Thrones.
What? If anybody has not seen Game of Thrones, you just gave away
Okay, he gets his penis chopped off.
And then they keep calling him, like, what, Schick? What is the name they keep giving him?
Oh, I don't know.
Or is it like Rake? Is it Rake?
That's something weird.
It's something weird.
Blog.
Like the other actress in here, Bridget Moynihan as Mrs. Wick, who had very few scenes in this movie.
She's in the cell phone scenes.
That's all.
Yep.
She's definitely strictly a plot device, which is actually what happens with a lot of these characters in this movie. But Bridget Moynihan, she showed up in I, Robot and Lord of War, and she also plays one of the lawyer in Blue Bloods, that TV show on CBS.
Robots ain't got nothing on Will Smith.
Well, obviously not.
So, Fresh Prince.
Badass.
Smackdown. Well, he was. I don't know about now.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
you don't think he's badass anymore? Well,
save us from boring summers, Mr. Will Smith. I will, and then all of a sudden I won't.
For a while there, he was Mr. July 4th. He was Independence Day. He always had a movie coming out early in July, and it was just great to watch, and it was entertaining, and it was a popcorn muncher movie, which This one is the same kind of movie. It's just exciting and just a popcorn muncher. The other character we have in here is Dean Winters as Avi. You see him in Law and Order SVU. He's also in Allstate commercials, which I love so much. He also shows up in Oz. And this character is kind of a strange one because he plays the bodyguard that seems really useless. The
useless second in command.
Yeah, he seems like a real useless second in command.
Just like William Riker. I'm kidding. Wow. Stop sending emails right now.
Wow.
Stop it. Do not send me an email over this. I love Will Riker. Jesus.
I don't
Stop
think...
this second.
I don't think they got to their computers fast enough. After that comment. The next guy we have here is Ian Mcshane, who is Tai Lung in Kung Fu Panda.
Great name.
Kung Fu Panda is just such a great movie also.
It is. He was also in... He's been in a ton of stuff. He was the dad in Hot Rod, which, great movie. On Netflix, watch it. Funny as hell.
I have not seen that one.
Funny as hell.
And Ian McShane's character is the owner of the hotel, who also just has very brief scenes throughout the movie. Next up, we have John Leguizamo as Aurelio, who had a single scene. And John Leguizamo, the star of Super Mario Brothers, Spawn, and Die Hard 2.
The star of Super Mario.
You know, he plays Luigi Mario.
Yeah.
So, as in, Mario is the last name.
Yep.
So, the main character's name is Mario.
I always thought it was Mario the Plumber. Like, his last name was the Plumber.
Mario. The thing I hate about John Leguizamo through that whole movie, he always just said Mario. The whole time. Mario. It just bothers the hell out of me. He also was in Ice Age.
That's the thing that bothered you about that movie.
Well, there's a lot that bothers me about that movie. I do give them credit for getting somewhat of a movie off of a video game like Super Mario Brothers. There's really nothing there to work on.
It could have been better.
Yeah, it could have been better.
We should go back and make it right.
You wish.
Give the fans the Mario movie they deserve.
His character, Aurelio, is like the chop shop guy, and he's just in there for a single scene. Yeah, it's definitely another plot device.
Just to start the dialogue about who John Wick is.
Yeah. Michael Nyquist is Viggo Tarsarov, the villain of the movie. He shows up in Ghost Protocol as the lead villain, and
he was in Abduction. I think in everything I've seen him in, he's been a bad guy. He's the new bad guy.
My opinion of this character is I feel like he's always, to me, he's the most entertaining and has the most personality to him. He's basically one of the shining stars of this movie. And just a lot of little scenes that we'll get into later about why I like this guy. Next guy is Willem Dafoe, played Marcus, known from Spider-Man and Finding Nemo.
Would you trust Willem Dafoe with a sniper rifle?
Well, no, I would not. And why is it that he can't not be creepy?
Even if he was playing like Moses or something, he would be the creepiest Moses on the planet.
He just has this creepiness about him that no matter what you do with him, he just always looks creepy. Even just throughout this movie, he's not a bad character.
Yeah.
But he still looks like a villain.
I think it's because he actually is part vampire. I think he is a real descendant of Dracula.
So, now we've gone through the list of characters, let's go ahead and get into our quirks and likes. Alright, Jones. Let's start with my quirks here about this movie.
Okay.
The thing that I thought was bad about this movie was the dialogue seemed really campy, and the characters are really dull. But the way that the movie is set up, I don't think I particularly care about that because of the way the movie is as a shoot 'em up.
Yeah, it's a shoot 'em up, and it's not going to give you the best dialogue, and you just have to have some fun and enjoy the mayhem. John Wick gets taken out like a chump at first. He's totally alone. His wife has just passed away. And he's in a real stark environment. It's really sterile and clean, and it's he's obviously very alone. And when he gets jumped in his own place, he gets taken out like a chump, which apparently reboots his robot-like persona.
Yeah, he's definitely in this complete, super clean, stark environment, like you were saying, and the only scene that you see him have any kind of personality to it at all is just on the mantle you see pictures of his wife, and that's all that's there that has any kind of personality to it.
You know, he's lonely or a killer. That's like one or the other, but he's awesome at being a killer, so I just hope he doesn't run out of people to shoot. So how many headshots were there in this movie? Because I noticed it right away, and then I started losing count.
Now, before this movie came out, the only thing that I knew about it, other than watching the trailer when it was out in theaters, was there was a YouTube video that said, count how many headshots. And I didn't watch the video, but I was definitely expecting a lot of headshots in this movie. And there's definitely not a shortage of them at all. He seems to just shoot everybody in the head. There's no inaccuracy of the headshot.
Yeah.
In this movie.
In fact, if you enjoy watching people get shot in the head, boy, do I have a movie for you. So what is it about a dog getting killed in a movie?
The catalyst of this movie is definitely the dog being taken out. When you see the dog get taken out, which they don't even show, you just hear the hit.
It's pretty devastating there.
You hear the hit, and you hear the dog's reaction to the hit.
Yeah.
And it just breaks your heart instantly.
Yeah.
So no matter what, after this, you don't care about those bad guys at all. Right. You think the worst possible thing needs to happen to them.
I'm still pissed off about it. I'm still like, God damn it, that fucking dog got killed. Yeah. I'm still like, fuck that.
It feels like death is too good for them at that point in time. So it's a very interesting way to get humans that are watching this movie, when they see a dog get killed, you instantly don't care about the gruesome stuff that he does to him the rest of the movie, because they all friggin' deserve it.
Oh, yeah. I'd rather see a baby get eaten by a zombie than a puppy get hit with a baseball bat. You know, so another thing, so after he gets jumped and he has to bury his dog, then he gets to work. And, you know, they steal his car. They kill his dog, they jump him in his own house, and, you know, he definitely got the crap kicked out of him, and he gets on a bus and is a bloody mess. And I don't know about you, but what city bus driver will let someone get on the bus who's bleeding like that?
Well, maybe because it's set in Jersey, he just doesn't care.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's just business as usual.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, at least it wasn't a school bus. One of the things that sort of comes up is, even though he gets the crap kicked out of him in the beginning, all of his adversaries start figuring out that they really screwed up and went after the wrong person. Because we find out that in the criminal world, John Wick is basically the boogeyman. And he's the boogeyman with unlimited bullets.
Not even true. He runs out of bullets so often. God damn it. Damn it.
You know, just how many bad guys could the Russians have anyway? You know John Wick is coming, and you see everyone getting shot in the face. How much money could they make?
There's no way that you could pay me enough money to see 10 to 12 or 20 of my associates get taken out and not want to just be like, well, I'm done. There's no way. I'm just going to run away from this. This is just not worth the pay.
What's the going rate for thug for hire these days?
Now that we're done with the quirks, let's go into what we liked about the movie, Jones. One of the first things I want to say that I loved about this movie was the lighting is incredible in this movie. There's so much deliberate lighting in this movie that makes it have this feel to it that almost gives it like a painting type look to it. Everything's very vivid because of the use of color and light. And even in the scenes where there aren't any, where they're not at a club or they're not at the hotel specifically, just even in them outdoors, there's a lot of contrast, and the pops of color and light I thought was just incredible in this movie. There's not a lot of movies that do a lot of that in there, especially something like a shoot 'em up movie. They just kind of film it the way it is, and they do lighting, but it's not. Yeah, it has a stylized look to it, and I love the way that they did the lighting. The other thing was there's a lot of scenes in there with just how the movie is shot that are just really interesting. Just like the scene where Yosef and his thug buddies get out of the car, there's that worm's eye shot looking up, and just doing creative shots like that is something that happens often in the movie. There's also the scene where he's looking at the videos of his wife, and every single one of those scenes, when he's doing the flashbacks, I like how it seems surreal to it. And I think that really gives you an idea to the character of John Wick and how he's still coping with the death of his wife, which just happened 3 days before. I just like how they filmed those shots. They just had that look to them. They're dreamlike, and I just really enjoyed it. The movie also, it has a certain charm to it. What I mean by it has a certain charm to it, there's certain scenes that go on a little longer than normal, or things that are actions that are done that aren't normal in a movie. For instance, the scene where Willem Dafoe's character makes that juice for Vigo. He makes the juice, he hands it to Vigo, and there's a scene where Vigo just like sniffs it and then puts it back down on the table. And that's a scene that's usually just not in a movie. They just hand the glass and he'll drink it and put it down or anything like that. But this time he has this like weird look and a sniff, and I think that's something really cool about his character and this movie, that it has this certain charm to it.
Like, this isn't good enough for me.
Yeah.
Is this poisoned?
And
I'm not going to drink something a hitman gave me.
And there's a lot of scenes in that where there's a lot of scenes that are telling in that movie that where dialogue doesn't need to be there, which I think is a good thing about it, because the dialogue is actually bad sometimes, but there's a lot of stuff being told without action.
You know, Keanu Reeves does very well in parts where there are no dialogue.
Yeah, he's good at that.
Yeah, and there are a lot of scenes like this, and you know, I think this is probably one of his better performances.
Another thing I liked about this movie was I liked the effect they did on the subtitles.
Oh yeah, that was very cool.
They had this, they kind of smoked in. There wasn't just this pop of text. It actually would show up and it almost came in erratically, but smoothly. And I also like that they had these pops of color within them to emphasize certain words that were being said, like when the boogeyman popped up.
Right, it's like a orange. Bigger, yeah, and it's a bigger word.
The only other time I've seen just a subtitle effect done in a movie was in that movie The War with Jason Statham and Jet Li, and which is a very okay movie. But they did do something right, because there's a lot of subtitles in there because they're all speaking Chinese in certain scenes, and there's just something interesting about the way they do those in The War also. The other thing I like, Jones, the hotel for hitmen.
What a cool idea.
It is a really cool idea.
It's a safe place for hitmen to go, where basically there's just the gentleman's agreement, if you will, that no killing is going to take place on the property. You know, they can use it as a base of operations, and it's beneficial for all parties. And it was a really cool little thing, I think, to see in this movie that I think took me by surprise. And, you know, it was like, okay, now I really like this movie.
The other thing about the hotel was I liked that these hitmen were paid or were paying with gold coins, which it leaves it to the imagination of where they got these gold coins from. You assume, or my assumption, is that they come from them taking people out, and that's how they get the gold coins. And so it just was really interesting to see them use these specific coins that, by the way, just look like arcade tokens. They pay with these. He pays the guy at the desk. He pays the people that do the cleanup crew. And I thought it was just a nice little touch to this movie that they're using this hitman type currency that can't be used in any other store or anything.
And yet it might be the most powerful currency on the planet.
Yeah. Another thing about the charm of this movie is I enjoyed the doorman scene with Francis the doorman.
Kevin Nash.
Where he thanks John Wick for not taking him out.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot in this movie where there's this sense of respect of this character, John Wick, because he's so dangerous. And even the title of the movie represents that. It's not a title like Hitman for Hire. It's John Wick. And it's done that because you should just know who John Wick is. When you hear his name, you know who he is, you know he's dangerous, and you know that he's going to take your ass out if he needs to.
You know you're going to get shot in the face by him. You got to know it's coming.
This is one of the few action movies where there was definitely a lot of running out of bullets and reloading. And there's something that in action movies, it seems like a lot of times these guys just have an unlimited amount of bullets. And this movie doesn't do that. It has several scenes where he runs out of bullets and he has to reload, or he has to use hand-to-hand in order to accomplish his goal. And I really enjoyed that about this movie because there's just not a lot of movies that do that. All right, Jones, let's hear some of your likes about this movie.
Yeah, I thought the action when it started, it was pretty consistent. And that's usually something that bugs me about a lot of action movies where it might die down in the middle or towards the end of the second act. And I felt that it was really good and pretty good for this kind of movie. It's one of the better shoot 'em ups I've seen in some time. I thought the performances all around, even though, I think you said some of the parts were kind of small and, they just served a purpose. They went after really good talent. And it's always nice to see big, sexy Kevin Nash in a movie because he just always does a very entertaining job, even though he's just in there for a split second.
Which that's true, except for Bridget Moynihan. You could have put Bridget Moynihan. She plays his wife, and she's only in the scenes where the cell phone video is. I really feel like you could have just put anybody there. It just didn't matter.
I disagree. I disagree because I think you need someone who's a presence working with the Tin Man from Oz. You gotta have someone who's gonna get a smile out of him. And while a 20-year-old girl trying to make a name for herself in Hollywood might do that too.
Yes.
So, at the start of the movie, we were talking about John Wick. They take his car from him. He never gets it back at the end. What the hell happened to his car? It's not like he destroyed it. It's not like, that punk kid gets in it and he drives him off the edge of a cliff or something like that. That car is just lost it's just gone. He never gets it back. And what is it when he is given a car, cause someone tries to take him out at the hotel, which should not have happened. And as an apology, they gave him a car, which lasted for about one scene because he ends up driving it off a cliff.
Which is very reminiscent because he ends up just walking away.
Yeah, he ends up walking home with a dog.
With a new dog.
So did he Did he take that dog from like a kennel? I hope that wasn't a boarding school and he took it from a pound. Because I was thinking John Wick just stole someone's dog. I'm taking this dog now. This is my dog. Some little girl's going to be devastated when she gets back from vacation. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, so Willem Dafoe with the sniper rifle, watching you while you sleep. That gives me the heebie-jeebies.
That is extremely creepy. But, I mean, like we said before, he's one of the creepiest actors in Hollywood. He is.
Not as creepy as Liev Schreiber, but he's right up there. The boogeyman checks under his bed for Willem Dafoe.
Now that we've gone through our quirks and likes, man, let's go through the rating of this movie.
All right.
I think that this movie, you don't need to see it in theaters because it doesn't have a massive idea to it or a massive scale to it. So I don't know if you get a lot from the big screen, but definitely give it a rental.
Yeah, I'd say it's rent worthy for sure.
It's just highly entertaining. If you like the shoot 'em up movies, there's no reason why you shouldn't see John Wick because it's one of the best shoot 'em ups that I've seen. And I actually really enjoyed seeing it. So I give this one definitely a rent it.
Rent it. Sequel it.
Sequel it.
Yeah, there are not a shortage of bad guys that need shooting in the head.
I would watch a John Wick sequel.
All right.
Next time we're going to talk about Avengers, The Age of Ultron.
The Age of Ultron. Echo.
Do you always have to do that every time you hear Age of Ultron?
Every time I hear Age of Ultron. Tron.
All right.
Yep.
This is the Half Past Podcast. I'm Graham Ricks.
Jonesy.
See you next flick.